sir.
Give me your city manager comments, just summarize.
Being heavily medicated.
Watching on TV, what we talked about in earlier discussion.
Sure.
Do you agree with that, Kerry? I agree with that. Kerry agrees with that.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to each of you. We welcome you here tonight. If you will stand, please. We'll have our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance. Let us pray, please. Heavenly Father, we are grateful indeed for the day and for all the many blessings that you have bestowed upon each one of us. We ask now, Lord, that you would join us in these chambers tonight, that you would guide us and direct us in the decisions that we make, and make those decisions, Heavenly Father, the best for those that we serve. And we make this prayer in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I do apologize for the delay. We'll try to move forward as quickly as possible. Next item on our agenda is our audience for visitors, and at this time, if there's anyone in the audience who would like to address council on any issue, we'd like to hear from you now. Yes, sir, Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Mayor, Council, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm Don Anderson. I live at 3 White House Drive, and my interest in the project at the end of Rennes Road is because I also at the end of Rennes Road. So whatever goes in there, I know it will be a good project once we get everything all sorted out. And I just wanted to point out something that I heard. I wasn't at the last council meeting, but I heard it on TV. And I always go back to the beginning, which is when I first read the Poquoson opening welcome. The city boasts a small town atmosphere with compatible neighbors. And I'd like to think that that's really true. And I'm here to sort of defend, in a way, what I've been painted as a naysayer. If I heard it once the last meeting, I heard it half a dozen times. Basically, my belief is that a project at the end of Rennes Road is going to be good for the city, it's going to be good for me, it's going to be for the schools, etc., and so on, because I know you gentlemen and ladies will make it come out so that it will be like that. When I get it tagged as a naysayer, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that it is not that I'm against the project. What I'm against is always seems like we have something that we need to give away. I'm not in the business of giving roads away to other people. I'm not in the business of allowing somebody that's within probably 100 yards of my house building a 60-foot high building that's going to be almost as long as a football field, which was the original plan. I don't think that's within the Poquoson ability to absorb without ruining some of our neighborhood. I'm not so bent out of shape about some of the other deviations, like one of course was some of the setback from the water, so on and so forth. I don't think that's going to impact terribly, as long as it's a minor variation, it's going to impact the character of Poquoson. So I would like to ask, especially you folks sitting here in front of me, that you give a lot of consideration to the fact that my home is very compatible with the small town nature. My neighbor down the street, Mr. Rob Brown, his home fits the mold perfectly. I doubt if either one of us had to ask for a variance to build our houses. So why do we have to have so many variances to build all these condominiums? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Appreciate your comments. Anybody else? All right, let's move on then, please, to our approval of minutes. We have 2 sessions. If we can take those separately, please.
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to approve the regular session dated October 26, 2009.
Okay? All right, we have a motion made and second that we adopt our minutes from our regular session, October the 26th, 2009. Any concerns, comments, questions, comments regarding those minutes? If not, Judy, please.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Abstain.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 6-0 with one abstention.
Thank you, Judy. And the work session, please.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt the minutes of the work session of October 26th.
Okay?
Second.
Motion made and second that we adopt the work session minutes of October the 26th as well. Any concerns, comments regarding those? If not, Judy, please.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Abstain.
Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 6-0 with one abstention.
Thank you, Judy. Let's move on to item E, unfinished business. First item is ordinances increasing land use application fees, and this is the second reading. Randy, any comments?
No, sir. It's simply to remind you that you previously held a work session on this and a public hearing, and this came at your initiation.
Okay?
Mr. Mayor, I'd
Yes.
like to make a motion, we approve an ordinance amending the subdivision ordinance of the city of Poquoson, Virginia as it pertains to fees.
Okay?
I'll second that, Mr.
All right, we have a motion made and second. We adopt the ordinance. Any concerns or comments?
I have one question. I'm not sure it was on this section. I was going through some papers earlier, Randy, and there was one number that had been circled. I don't think it's actually in this folder. It was on a loose piece of paper that had a fee plus, it was one of the fee papers. I've been through so much this week. It's not in this section though, right? We were changing it from 150 plus a certain amount per square foot to a certain amount per square foot, but we had left off the base number. I don't have any idea what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't recall it.
Then if I don't think it's in this section. I'm sorry. I just remembered that. So it's not here. I'll go ahead and vote on it.
Okay.
Thanks.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
let me
ma'am.
bring out at the last meeting, we started off adopting each ordinance individually, and then you changed to adopt them all. So I just wanted to bring that to
Yeah,
your
if someone,
attention.
whoever made the motion would do that, that's a great idea.
I'd like to amend the motion
Okay.
to approve all four.
Okay, thanks. And the second?
Second.
I'll second that.
Okay, any other concerns or comments? Thank you, Judy, appreciate that. Okay.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, given the work session and what we chatted about, what do we need to do regarding the next meeting, Randy? Are we going to have anything ready that we need to be here for that?
I would say so.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we defer the next item on the agenda.
Second.
Defer?
Defer.
The next for the people at home, the next item is canceling the second meeting the month of November and December. If we could, I'd like to talk about that now. The next meeting would fall on Monday before Thanksgiving, and I do plan to be out of town at that time because it is Thanksgiving going
How
out of town.
about Tuesday? Are you going to be gone the whole week?
Yeah, be on the whole week. It is Thanksgiving week, so if we could move it to maybe the 30th of November or back a week, that'd be fine if we could change the date, because it is traditional that we take off, around Christmas and around Thanksgiving. So that's why I'm on vacation at that
I
time.
don't have any problem taking off, but I do want to make sure that we're covering
I
the
was
business
thinking
of the
we'd end
city.
up with a work session before that anyway, right?
The 18th.
If we did next week, then staff would have a very short time in getting
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too short.
overlay ordinance put together. I mean, 2 weeks would give them time
Yes.
to get something done, but, ask them to do it in 4 working days because
No, it
it's a
can't do
holiday
that.
on Wednesday.
No, can't.
That wouldn't work.
And then right after Thanksgiving, I'm looking at probably wouldn't be good. How about this? Either defer the one in November or go to the 7th of December and have two in December, the 7th and the 14th.
Well, look, all I asked for was to defer the next action item. It doesn't set the meeting.
No, it doesn't, but this is the last meeting
I think
before,
Yeah.
and this is to defer the next meeting, so we need to talk about
All
it.
right, well, let's just find out who can be here, because if we've got some business we need to take care of, then
We need to take care of it.
we need to take care of it.
I can be here.
You can be here, I can be here. Frank?
I can be here.
Carrie?
23rd.
Yes.
Okay, then, Tracy?
I think so. Yeah, I can be here.
Okay. So let's,
Stay with this.
Well, there's no reason to defer it, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make
No,
a
let's-
motion. We cancel the second meeting of December.
okay. We can run through this. if you want.
Because-
We've already got a motion on the floor. Right?
No, I thought the motion was defer.
I just
Got a motion and
Okay.
a
made to
second.
defer the whole item.
Right.
Okay.
And I think that's probably the one that's going to get passed.
We'll see.
Where was the second?
I think I had
It was
it.
Okay.
Holloway.
Okay, let's try this, Judy, see what happens.
Okay. Councilwoman Crawford?
Abstain.
All right, clarify real quick. Clarify what the vote is, please, real quick.
We're deferring this entire item.
Deferring the entire
Till-
item.
Taking it off.
Oh, okay.
Taking it off the agenda.
So
Okay.
we will have a meeting, we will have a meeting in 2 weeks.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is the action
Yes.
of deferring.
Yes. Wayne, did you?
I was just simply going to go back is that if you're going to abstain for a vote, there needs to be a reason
Oh, really?
to abstain for a vote. You can't just say I abstain. So if you have a legitimate reason such as you weren't here at the meeting and didn't know what the minutes were, then that's
Or
a
just that
proper
I'm
reason for abstention.
too stinking
But just to abstain
confused.
because you don't want to vote, that's not a proper reason.
Okay, so you get a second try.
So I'm voting whether or not I want to defer the motion.
Okay, I'll start down here with the roll call.
Start down at this end?
Wherever you want to start.
Councilman Marie?
Get Tracy
Nay.
as much time as you can.
Okay. Councilman Freeman? Councilman Krieger?
Aye.
Councilman Holloway?
Aye.
Councilman Hunt?
Aye.
And Councilwoman Crawford?
I will vote aye. Aye.
Aye, okay. And Mayor Helsel?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 6-1.
All right, thank you, Judy. Let's move on to new business. First item, resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with Davenport and Company LLC for financial advisory services. Mr. Weaver.
Mr. Mayor, you have in your package a proposal to authorize me to execute on behalf of the city a contract with Davenport Company LLC to continue to be our financial advisors. This was competitively procured, and we bring this to you with a recommendation for approval.
All
You
right.
can answer questions if you'd like.
Any questions of the manager? Anybody prepared with a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make
Yes.
a motion that we adopt the resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with Davenport and Company LLC for financial advisory services.
Okay. All right, we have a motion made and second. We adopt the resolution. Are there any concerns or comments?
Just one comment.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to tell the public how thrilled we are with Davenport and Company's, basically their advice through the years. And they're one of the main reasons that we were able to afford, quite frankly, the new elementary school.
Good point. Okay.
Councilman Holloway?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Marie?
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford?
Aye.
Councilman Krieger?
Aye.
Councilman Hunt?
Aye.
And Mayor Helsel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right, thank you, Judy. Item 2 under new business is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an engineering services contract with SSES Engineering Services. Randy?
You summarized it very well, sir. Well, staff is here to answer any questions you have. Mr. Speechley and Mr. Bloom both were the selection committee that spearheaded this.
Okay, any questions of Jeff or Bob?
The last time I think we had an engineering contract, I'm not sure it was the same thing, but we had contracts with 2 different firms. Is this very similar to what we had before?
This is very similar, except this is an SSES, this is a sanitary sewer evaluation study.
Okay.
The consent order requires us to do that study, and this will take care of doing the study, and if something comes up along with the study, something needs to be repaired, that's included in this contract also, that we can go ahead and get their service to fix whatever needs to be fixed.
And the last one we had was with the 2 engineering firms because we could use one against the other as far as bids go.
That was for all kinds of engineering, whether it was roads or sewers or, this is just for the sewer work
Okay.
and associated things.
Gotcha. Thank you.
So, one other question. I guess so this money will be coming out of the sewer fund. Is that correct?
It comes out of the money that you set aside for this, yes, sir.
I mean, that's what you kind of had envisioned.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into an engineering services contract for SSES Engineering Services.
Okay.
I'll second that, Mr. Mayor.
All right, we have a motion made, second, we adopt the resolution. Any other comments, concerns, questions? If not, Judy, please.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsing.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Let's move on to item 3, is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with PAPCO for delivery of gasoline and diesel fuel. Randy?
This is another one of those contracts which we need to, was expiring, we need to renew. We subjected it to competitive procurement, and what you see on the third page is the amount of markup over their, whatever their actual price is. And you'll see that that we had 4 bidders, and that this is clearly one stands out from the other, and we recommend it to you. Mr. Petty was our principal lead staff on this, working in finance.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Mr. Mayor, I'd
Yes,
like to move that we approve a resolution authorizing the execution of contract with PAPCO for delivery of gasoline and diesel fuel.
All right, sir. Second. All right, we have a motion made, second, that we adopt the resolution. Any other comments, any concerns, no questions? Judy, please.
Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsing.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Item 4 under new business is a resolution in recognition and honor of retiring employees. Judy, can I ask you to read the resolution, please?
There are actually 4 resolutions.
Well, we just need to read.
The letter.
You've got them all.
And just call the name.
Yeah. Just call the names individually.
Okay. The resolutions are in honor of Jonathan L. Montgomery, the Director of Public Works, Ronald F. Moore, who was an inspector in the Inspections Department, Ann Saunders, who was employed in the Poquoson Police Department. Her last title there was Support Services Supervisor, and Betty Watkins, also with the Poquoson Police Department, who served as a dispatcher there, and her last position was as the administrative secretary receptionist.
Okay.
These all retired effective November 2nd.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we adopt the resolutions for Jonathan L. Montgomery, Ronell F. Moore, Ann D. Saunders, and Betty Watkins.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made and second that we adopt those resolutions. Any other comments or concerns? You probably want to comment at council directors regarding those folks. Judy, we're ready.
You're ready for the vote. Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsing.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Let's move on to item 5, an ordinance making additional appropriations for FY 2010, excuse me. Randy, any comments?
Mr. Mayor, this is a carryover item requesting reappropriation of several different funding streams from the school division's budget last year. There are 2 letters from the superintendent here which explain in some detail what each of those pots of money is and the rationale for why they were asking it to be carried forward. Both Mr. Bowen is here from the schools if you have questions, or our finance director, Mrs. Owens.
Okay. All right, I just have one comment regarding the ordinance. We've said on this council time and time again that our schools have a very, very high priority in this community. And when an ordinance comes, at least across my desk, it has to do with the decision of the school board on school administration. I have all the faith and the trust in those folks that I think I could possibly have to not only give us an accurate ordinance, but to deal with those dollars in the best way that they know how to enhance the education that we offer here in this city. I think it's an ideal opportunity to say to those folks, hey, we appreciate what you do. We want to be partners with you and work together to trying to give our children the best education that we can. And I think we're envied across the state of Virginia because of our school board, our school staff, and certainly the work that council and school board do together. So I'm going to make that little comment before we move on to, I'm sure it'll be adoption of the ordinance.
Absolutely. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to second what you just said, and I just have one question for Randy, and that is, Randy, this money is additional, it's to transfer money. Did this show up in our budget, our city budget, or was this only reflected in school budgets up to this point?
It was only reflected in the school budget last year, and in the fund balance estimates that you've seen from us so far, it was backed out originally, so backing it out now, it says a net effect of 0.
Good, so there is no effect, good.
It does not do anything to your fund balance numbers that you've seen, because we backed it out before you ever saw it.
Good. Well, I concur with what the mayor said about the excellence of our schools and much wanting to support them. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve an ordinance making additional appropriations and reappropriations for FY 2009 and 10.
Second.
Okay. Any comments?
The only comment
Yes, sir.
I'd make, and I am totally behind what you said, Mr. Mayor, as far as our work relationship with the schools. But I think we'd be remiss to our citizens if we didn't tell them why we were moving money. And that is
All right, we can.
that basically it's a shortfall in state sales tax, right? Sales tax revenue.
Yes.
Yep.
So the state of Virginia is, again, and I stress again, cutting the budget for the schools mid-year. Right? This would be the first of the year, another 100,000 or so coming. I guess Randy would ask for a report on that, and I'd like to have that in the near term. But again, this is where the state is not coming to the table on their share, and we're forking it up. So I think we'd be remiss not to tell our citizens that, yes, in fact, we are prepared to back up the state, but this is truly backing up the state here.
Was this, I might have misread this thing. I thought this was end-of-year money that reverted back to city that we were just putting back.
That's where we're getting the money from.
Yeah.
Right,
But
so
it's
we're just
still-
putting it back in the school budget.
It's the local taxpayers' money
Right.
that we're putting back into the school system.
Okay.
Yes.
It has to come back to council.
Right.
Right. But because of the bookkeeping thing, we didn't know we had the money. That's why it never showed up in our budget, essentially in the city budget as opposed to the school budget. And I agree entirely with what Gene said about the state backing off of what they have given in the past. And I can just say that since their revenues are down 9.2% year on year, we've got to expect, the citizens need to expect an awful lot more shell games from the state. They're going to take money from us from various places, whether it be the schools, whether it be the 911 funds, whether it be something else. They have to make up the budget deficit, and they can't print money, so we're going to lose it from some pocket somewhere, and it's not going to be good.
I think in other years that, when the schools have come to us and asked for their, end-of-year money to come back to them, it was used for like school buses and things like that.
Absolutely.
And I think this is one of the first times that it's being used just to
Back
Fund
into
it,
the.
Yeah, we're not moving ahead.
stay afloat,
We're not moving ahead.
Again,
one
I
mile.
just want to stress to the citizens that, we're basically, you hear all this talk. This is where the rubber hits the road. Basically, the localities are getting ready to make up the difference for the state budget shortfalls. This is just the beginning of what I anticipate will be a second one mid-year in 2010 from the state of Virginia.
Well, it seems to me, and Gene, I think you're exactly right, but if we keep getting the song and dance about living within our means, we're going to be affected drastically here in the city of Poquoson regarding our educational system, without question.
Have a motion in a second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All right. Ms. Wiggins, please.
Councilwoman Crawford.
Aye.
Councilman Hunt.
Aye.
Councilman Holloway.
Aye.
Councilman Krieger.
Aye.
Councilman Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Marie.
Aye.
And Mayor Helsel.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carries by a vote of 7-0.
All right, Judy, thank you very much. Mr. Wheeler.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, just a few things. Thought it might be useful to very briefly recap our work session. Councilman Marie ask that I do that. At your next meeting, we will bring back the waterfront mixed-use ordinance in a form that you can consider it for action. We will proceed as expeditiously as is possible with the processing of the request for modification, consideration of the request for the wetlands permit modification, and continue the discussion on the IDA designation at your next meeting. So that's in 60 seconds or less, the end result of an hour-and-a-half work session. Remind the council and the community that next week we have a scheduled work session, joint session with the school board. We will be closed this week for Veterans Day for non-emergency offices and invite the community to join us for the Veterans Day ceremony outside of City Hall at 11 o'clock. And a reminder to the entire community that on December the 4th, which is a Friday evening, we will be having the annual Christmas parade, and not to be missed. And that is all I have, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Tracy?
Thanks. I just wanted to mention that I enjoyed visiting the businesses in Poquoson this past weekend at their holiday open house, and I want to once again encourage people to spend their money in our fine stores and restaurants in town. And I wanted to mention that while you've been busy the past few months, Mayor, I have been your stand-in on the HRTPO, and Randy and I attended a meeting in Chesapeake last week, and I'm just very glad to have you back and filling that seat again. It was fun, but
Thank you.
thank you for. I'm glad to have you back for a few
Thank you.
years.
Gene?
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thanks.
No, I'm,
All right, Frank?
Just a thanks to the city manager and the staff for all the work they did in giving us the background information for the White House Cove Development Project. It was a lot of effort, I know, that went into it, and we all appreciate it. So thanks,
Absolutely.
thanks to everyone for doing it.
Absolutely.
there's a lot of effort just to read it, much less all the work they did to put it together.
Hey, all I had to do was have Tom call me. I didn't have to read it.
Harold?
I've got a question, and I've actually got two things. Can you update us any on Zooms? I'm getting a lot of questions about when that's going to reopen. Do you know that?
I do not know the answer to that
I don't know it
question.
either. Okay.
Well,
Might be worth telling people.
What we'll try to do is get you an answer for that in the weekly report this week.
Open at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, when it's going to reopen is the question I've been getting. Again, congratulations to these four retiring employees. That's 116 years total of service to the city, and I think that's commendable. And then just in general, we already talked about the schools a little bit, but none of our employees got raises last year, including all the school teachers. And everybody, all the city side, all the school side, are just doing an absolutely outstanding job, working hard, putting in a lot. Earlier it was called personal time, but you just call it overtime, which is a more common term, without pay, I might add. And everybody is, I'm just amazed daily on what y'all get done with what you have, and we do certainly appreciate it. That's all.
All right, Kerry, thanks. Tom?
I'd like to echo what Kerry said about the city employees, because they do an awful lot of work, and they do need to be recognized for it. And we try to. We can't compensate them as well as we would like. At least I don't think any of us would say we do monetarily, but they really are appreciated. And just to echo one thing that Randy talked about, and that is it would be nice to see a lot of people out here right in front of the building at 11 o'clock on Wednesday for the Veterans Day presentation. It's always done in a very nice fashion by the American Legion.
Okay, let me just very briefly, I know this is not necessary, but I'll do it anyway. And my apologies to council and Tracy, to you, to staff, and to the citizens of this community, because I've been really AWOL, if you will, for the last 6 months. And I appreciate very much the staff covering for me, and you've done a great job at that, and I appreciate it. I know you've fielded the calls that I ordinarily get, and you've handled them well, and I appreciate that. Council, I have not done a commendable job with regard to counseling with you folks. and I'm just going to blame it on the campaign and let it go at that. But we are now re-engaged. That's part of my life that's over and gone and done. And we are re-engaged, and we will take our seat, Tracy, back on the transportation MPO, and try to spend the next couple of years in trying to move this city forward in a good way. And that's my pledge to the community, that's my pledge to this council. But I thank each and every one of you for allowing me to be AWOL for the last 6 months. It's been a valuable lesson, so thank you. I will be out of town the rest of the week, Randy, so let me just say this to those of you who are here that are veterans. I know we have Tom and Carrie and Frank. We have others in the audience, Jeff. Let me just say to those that watch by TV that we just can't say thank you enough for what you folks have done, not only for this city, for this country, and in particular on behalf of my family. Let me thank everyone who's donned the uniform. We really appreciate that, and we don't say that enough. To those folks who actually had lunch with some of staff this past week, I believe it was, they had a little luncheon for Jonathan Montgomery, and I'm not sure whether the others were there or not, whether you plan on doing something at a later date. But anyway, for those 4 folks, they've given a multitude of years to this city, and I've had the pleasure of working with every one of them for an awful lot of years, and we lose 4 fantastic employees. We really do. And I can't say to them or adequately speak to the topic of how wonderful they've been and what a great job they've done for the city of Poquoson. I'm proud to have been able to serve with them. And I guess the good news is they're not too far away, any of them. So that makes it a little better. All right, anything else? Anybody else think of anything? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion made, second, we adjourn.
Who
Ms. Wiggins?
seconded?
Frank did.
I did.
Ms. Wiggins, please.
Councilman Hunt?
Aye.
Councilman Krieger?
Aye.
Councilwoman Crawford?
Aye.
Councilman Marie?
Aye.
Councilman Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Holloway?
Aye.
And Mayor Helsel?
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Thank you, ma'am, and we are adjourned.
Since I usually am the one that gets to.